How banks and financial institutions in MENA can leverage new technologies to offer better services and reduce both costs and risks as they scale and transform their business. These insights will be presented to you by Binru Tan, CEO of OneConnect Financial Technology, a member of China's Ping An Group, a Fortune 500 company. Building upon Ping An's extensive knowledge and expertise, OneConnect brings the best of China's financial technologies to empower financial institutions and banks in Asia. She's responsible for expanding the geographic reach. She's responsible for expanding the geographic reach of OneConnect Financial Technology Solutions internationally outside of China. She has recently been named one of the top 100 fintech leaders in Southeast Asia for her active role in growing and developing the ecosystem. Please welcome your keynote speaker, Binru Tan.
If anything in Abu Dhabi that I learned these 2 days, you have to speak very fast. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so the title is Art of Growth. I thought the best way to tell you about growth is about how Ping An has transformed by relentlessly pursuing digital transformation. So in case you do not know, Ping An is the largest insurance company in China. We also have the Ping An Bank, Ping An Investment Company, so altogether end-to-end financial institution in China. And in Singapore, we only have the technology company, which is OneConnect. OneConnect is the fintech arm of the China Ping An Group. So just a brief introduction of Ping An in case you have not heard of Ping An. We're number 29 on the Fortune 500, while revenue size is about $200 billion. We're bigger than most tech companies in terms of revenue. That includes Microsoft, that includes Alibaba as well to a certain extent. In terms of global market cap in global insurance, we're number 1. So Ping An it's only a short 30 years history if you don't know Ping An Group. In China, the insurance history is only a short 30 years. And we've seen growth tremendously, especially in the last 10 years in China. 30 years, the first 10 years we only did insurance. The second 10 years we only did banking, end-to-end financial institution business. The last 10 years we did everything on tech. So if you know Ping An a little bit, Ping An is the financial institution that has been pretty known to have transformed itself into a tech company. In the last 10 years, we invested 1% of our revenue every year on technology. And you can see that in 2008, we were 462 on the Fortune 500. We're very fortunate to be number 29 on the Fortune 500 in 2018. So it says here Ping An is both a financial institutions, financial services, and a tech company. Today, our PE trades at a ratio of in between a tech company and a traditional financial institution. This particular chart simply tells you the change, why we think that the technology is driving the financial institution and why we decide to continue investment in technology. So you can see back in 2013, we only did, where tech is a very small part of our business, you can see that we call our tech customers internet customers, and we call our banking customers financial customers. So you can see back in 2013, we have 80 million financial institution customers, and out of which a subset of 50 million is our internet customers, tech companies, tech customers. And over a span of 5 years, 6 years now is the opposite ratio. We have now 576 million internet customers, and a subset of that is our financial institution customer. Why is that so? Because we drove growth by understanding customers outside of their financial institution needs. The whole journey on digital transformation for the Ping An Group was all about understanding your customers better, but not just understanding the customers in the business that you are conducting, but also in the lifestyle area that's outside of financial institution requirements. We saw definitely a very big growth in the tech internet growth, and then the beauty about it is that our traditional business also grew tremendously because of that. So summarizing just growth factors overall, and this is Ping An is a conglomerate. So for a large conglomerate, we see 4 things as super important in driving growth. And I'll go down to the bottom ones first because those are very clear. Number 1, invest in a lot of talents. It takes a lot of people to do the work, right? So we have 7 research labs, 23,000 technical talents, more than 1,000 top data scientists. And then the second one is, of course, capital. A lot of money, right? So how long does it take for a financial institution to digitize? It took us 10 years, right? For a bank to digitize yourself, it took 10 years for us. 10 years, and for the first 7 years, we see no returns, right? We didn't see any return investing in technology in the first 7 years. In the last 3 years, we saw tremendous returns, not only in revenue, but mainly in the engagement and understanding your customers. So you can see that 35% of most of our customers currently comes from what we call the internet customers, which means I service the customer in a non-financial institution segment, and then I service you from a financial institution in the later stage. Right, so you can better understand this by looking at the business scenarios, right? So where technology is experimented, it's very important that it's implemented. In Ping An Group, we implement as much as we can in all business scenarios. So we create all kinds of business scenarios to implement those tech. I'll give you just one example on healthcare. We have Ping An Good Doctor. If you do not know, there's already a listed company. Our business is an insurance company. But we went ahead to hire doctors and work with 3,000 hospitals in order to understand more about the customer's requirements during days before he's sick, right? So that you can better understand the customers. We also own the largest portal called Auto Home, and this is because we are the largest P&C insurer in China. And Auto Home allows us to better understand the customer's behavior in scouting for cars, looking for cars, and what he's looking for, etc. And then the last one, massive data. A lot of data is required in the tech. So to drive the growth, the ability to harness your data is super important. Next, I want to talk about OneConnect. And OneConnect is the fintech arm of the China Ping An Group. You would have seen this maybe in some article about Ping An wanting to share our technology, right? So our business model is relatively unique, as in we're not an entrepreneur startup with a bright idea selling a technology to a bank, right? So we take whatever technology that is already implemented in Ping An and we commercialize it for other banks. This value proposition sounds a little conflicting to a certain extent because we've invested so much within the Ping An Group to make ourselves successful. Selling that technology means giving away your competitive edge to a certain extent. But that is the model that we are implementing, and you can see that it's very subtle. But then this is as good as giving. It's not worried about losing what you have built in order to drive growth continuously and drive innovation continuously. So 5 years in China, we recently set up in Singapore about 18 months for Southeast Asia. And you can see that in China, we're very successful over 5 years. Today, we cover almost all the nationwide banks, almost all the city commercial banks. There are about 1,200 banks in China. We cover about 35% of the rural banks, so about 600 banks that we cover. 80 insurance companies, that's about 44% coverage, and a whole lot of non-bank financial institutions. We have altogether 50 products, 1,000 patents, as well as 2,000 open APIs that we share with the larger community in China. A portion of this is coming to Southeast Asia. Today in Southeast Asia, we service about 10 countries, 30 clients currently, in the early stage, but growing very fast. We have actually a lot of tech. A lot of people came to our booth and asked, what exactly does OneConnect do? It's actually very hard to explain in one sentence, right? In a nutshell, we do end-to-end almost everything that a financial institution needs. right? That's our strength as well as our complexity, I think, right? Simply because, I think the banks need strategic partners. You can't be partnering many fintechs. And therefore, you need a strategic partner that can give you an end-to-end solution that allows you to scale over countries, that potentially also allows you to put one solution on top of the other. And we have that span of solutions. Outside of China, where we have localized solutions into English and other languages, we took about a few solutions. They're all arranging around in the area of AI, blockchain. So I'm going to just run through with you, given that I have 5 minutes before I hear the beep, right? So the AI solutions are all surrounding KYC. I don't know whether you have understood or know what KYC is. Basically, all the banks in Southeast Asia, and I think Abu Dhabi included, will be exploring how to do facial recognition in a better, secure way to access your bank account or open your bank account. And I think it's more for cybersecurity in developed markets rather than an unbanked population. The emerging Asia wants to remotely open an account, but then I think in the UAE space, where most people have a bank account, you want to access your bank account securely via facial recognition. And that's only KYC using FR. We do KYC Plus right now, which includes the voice print. So we believe that in the future, as more and more people use facial recognition, you're going to also very quickly know that it's not enough. Right, so basically you will read your ID card, it will pick out all your information, it will match your face, and then you will say your name and you match your voice. So that's KYC Plus. And then very soon you will need KYC Plus, right? So we do quite a lot of that in the AI space. We also do, other than voice print, a lot of speech recognition, customer service bot. Insurance company in China. And despite the amount of technology that you use, there are a lot of customers that will continue to call you in your call center. And at one point, we had so many calls. We have about 1 million calls, or more than 1 million calls per day in China. And that 1 million calls requires about 250,000 customer service agents that continuously speak to customers. You have high attrition rate in these customer service agents. It's hard to train people to say the right thing to the customer. So a lot of things can be automated. So we do a lot of customer service bot automation. To a certain extent, the bot performs better than the humans in many ways. Like, for example, when an insurance agent leaves, we actually call to our customers and say, we're sorry that your agent left. We have a free rider for you. Would you like to pick up this rider? And when it's called by a human, the pickup rate is 7%. When it's called by the bot, the pickup rate is 35%. Why? Because you train the bot with the best agents, the best method, the best tone, the right timing to call, etc., etc. These are things that is maybe not easy for 250,000 agents to do. I want to talk a little bit about lending. I know that, of course, UAE is more developed than the unbanked population. What we learned over time for using a lot of data points to do lending. And I think the banks in developed markets or in developing markets all needs intelligence in their lending solutions. Because the way that people take loans, no matter is a mature market or developed market, today traditional methods doesn't use your social media data, doesn't use understanding of customer behavior. So as we deploy this, we're the largest unsecured lender in China. And we have learned over time what kind of data in your lifestyle makes sense to evaluate, right? We also have a solution called micro-expression analysis, whereby we do a remote interview over the phone, and we're able to analyze the emotions of a person, draw a baseline to his emotions, and assess whether you have been calm or anxious during the interview. In one way or the other. That gives you some form of data as well. So this is a solution we implemented quite a lot in emerging Asia. The last one is on blockchain. And blockchain, at the national level, we've implemented a few big projects that I think in developed markets probably can consider. One of it is the Hong Kong E-Trade Connect. In the interest of time, I will not elaborate. If you are keen to know more about blockchain, and I think the beauty about blockchain is that it puts many parties together for shared intelligence rather than individually enabling your AI. Lastly, I would end by just on the growth topic, right? So OneConnect has grown to 10 countries, 30 customers over a span of 18 months, counting our very first employee and 6 months starting. So probably about a year into the market. I think it's very important for a fintech startup to attract talents. You know, this thing about working every single day without resting is not sustainable. I think attracting talents is important. Retaining your talents is super important. Customer centricity is very important, making sure that your solutions, everything that you are doing is customer centric. Data is super important, right? No matter is it your data, your customers' data, or your potential collaboration partners' data, that's super important as well in order to drive growth. And then, of course, lastly, I think diversity, and Abu Dhabi is a 40 nationality diverse country, right? So that diversity brings along a lot of innovation. And then lastly, speed matters. I think this is important. Technology is moving so fast. There's so many fintech players out there. So being the first to implement is much more important than anything else in our view. Okay, so that's nicely within time of 15 minutes on growth. And that ends my presentation. Thank you very much.